So guys, so it's been a long time since I actually did an upload, but I want to kind of cover a more so somewhat controversial topic that I'm going to break it down to like the logical reasons why my stance is what it is, and it's in regards to using Gen Pokemon Gen or hacked as like the kind of misinformed like to call it Pokemon in online battles. And I'm going to say this here, and I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to explain why I say this. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using Gen Pokemon in online battles, and I'm going to break down why I'm saying that. So let's start by saying I'll start by saying like if it's a Gen Mon and it's able to pass through like the legality checker or any kind of legal system to where it's actually usable in battle, it's past the game's people are DMing me in the middle of this, but it's past the game's in-game legality checker. The fact that it's in the battle means it's past the legality checker. That means the game views it as usable in battle and that it's perfectly fine and legal. Like yeah, sometimes it'll allow some shiny locks or whatever, but shiny doesn't affect the outcome of a battle. That's just the hard honest truth. But so when you see these mons are like ginned and like somebody's using like ad mons in the battle, the game's allowing it because nothing about their stats or anything is illegal. Like you're not going against mons that have like times 999 stats or max HP or like they're hacked to where they can't faint or like they just one hit KO everything. That's not possible because of the legality checker that's in place. If you had a mod that had like times 99 stats or PP and HP and stuff like that, the game will block it and you wouldn't be able to use it in battle. So when you're going to get somebody in battle, you're going to get somebody who has a mod that the game has deemed as legal. And I know a lot of people were saying, well, they didn't raise that mod, like, and all this other stuff like that, like, so they're cheaters or whatever. And I'm like, whether somebody raised the mod, so think about it like this. So let's say you lost to somebody and their team was completely ginned and you lost. Is it the is it the fault of the team that's gin that you lost, or is it the fault of skill, team building, and stuff like that you lost? And that's the thing that people kind of gloss over. They're like, oh man, I just lost to this cheater. That's the only reason I lost. I mean, if his team was legit bred or and everything like that, you would have still lost because origin of a Pokemon does not have anything to do with the outcome of a battle. And I hear this all the time. Um, they're like, well, they didn't take the time to breed it. I'm like, okay, so if you would have battled somebody who used a rental team, would you still be just as mad? Because a lot of people are using rental teams, which they aren't your Pokemon. They're basically, I mean, if you think about it, they're ginned. They aren't something you raised and stuff like that. It's just a lot of people get really hung up on that whole notion that like if you're using something to battle, it means more if you raise it and stuff like that. It really doesn't. Whether it's gin, whether you raised yourself, where you got in a trade, that stuff does not matter in battle because when it comes down to battle, it's about skill. And the thing is, most of the people that you hear against ginning and hacking and stuff are usually the more casual side of the fan base. That's just the honest truth. Like you don't really hear like VGC players like talk against ginning and hacking and stuff. And like yeah, I know there's probably some that are against it, but people like myself that gin and then have been ginning for a long time can tell you a lot of the people who gin and stuff are VGC players. And I'm not saying like top VGC players and stuff like that are like the ones that are coming to us because more than likely, like people, I mean, more than likely they have a hack switch themselves to do it themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that because end of the day, they realize, and like other competitive players realize that it's skill that matters ultimately in a battle, not the origin. So if you do see somebody and you lose to a team, don't automatically go to, oh yeah, he had Gen Pokemon, that's why I lost. That stuff doesn't matter in battle because they're not using anything outside of the legal parameters of the game. And again, like people bring up, well, they didn't breed it, they took more time and stuff like that. Well, I mean, if you're a competitive player, most of the time you don't just have one team. Like when I played Showdown and stuff like that, or like other Showdown players like VGC or Smoking, a lot of times you've got multiple teams. You're testing multiple teams. And like the thing is, like a lot of people that play competitively and like are usually older people, like people that are like they're at that stage in life where they can't just play all day. They've got jobs, families, school, all kinds of stuff that take away from like being able to sit around and ride a bike all day. And I've seen people, they shame others about that, like, oh, you have to resort to cheating because you can't breathe. Like, no, I have other important stuff in my life. Like, I can't just sit in front of my Switch all day to make a team that might not even be good. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I understand, like, yeah, we've got like bottle caps and like the mints and stuff to make everything better. But at the end of the day, you still have to actually do stuff for those. When like Jenning, you can get you a whole team in like less than 10 minutes. Realistically, using like Discord servers or hacking it yourself if you know what you're doing, because most people who actually are not hacking, genning their own mons for themselves, they're competitive people. They already know their EV spreads and stuff like that, because like when I see in the Discord, you can kind of tell the people who really struggle with the Discord are usually the more casual people. Competitive players, they know how to make imports because that's what they do. That's what they do all day. Like, but again, there's no harm in using Gen Pokemon in online battles. Don't blame people for having a Gen team as to why you lost. You really shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it comes down to skill, team building, all this other stuff like that, where origin of a mon does not matter in the grand scheme of a battle. Just like this is the scenario I offer to everybody, that a lot of people, when they hear me ask it, they'll try to dance around it. So let's say me and you battle. We have the exact same team. Mine's ginned, yours isn't ginned, and I win. Is it really my fault because the team's ginned? Because the thing is, you know exactly what I have. I know exactly what you have. In situations where we both have the exact same thing, skill is really important. But let's say my team's ginned and your team's legit, and I lose. Where's the advantage then? What advantage do I have now when I just lost with my Gen Mons? And that's the question I want to pose to you guys. And also in the comments down below, just let me know what you think. You don't have to agree with me. I'm just letting you guys know that now. I mean, I'm trying to hit you guys with like the logical explanation and facts, but I'm not sitting here saying like, okay, this is the end all be all that you need to agree with me. What I'm saying is true, whether you accept it or not, that's up to you. But I'm not saying that you have to agree with me. I'm not saying that at all. But that's all we gotta say. I mean, make sure to like, subscribe. I mean, share this video if you feel like it's informative, or if you don't think it's informative. I mean, it's all views and algorithm for me. But that's all we gotta say, and I'll see you guys later.